The thing about pornography, the thing about the urges, let me know if you notice this. They tend to fill in those cracks. Whenever there's
Mhm.
nothing to do, whenever there's not a goal in mind for a period of time, pornography just seems to slip its way and the urges kind of slip its way into that time. So where idle time becomes a little bit dangerous. Have you ever felt that before?
Oh, yeah, that's actually where the majority of urges or any of those patterns would actually occur. Because I've always worked a good amount,
Hmm.
and even the first few times when I had two jobs and I had a day off or something, I didn't use it too productively, and I kind of regret that because here and there I would read, but then I would tell myself, "Oh, you got all this free time, you could do whatever," and I would have the urge to want to do that, and you just go rub one out. And so
Yep.
some days I would do it right, and I was like, "Oh yes, my day off, I could enjoy myself," and it was stupid because it's like that's not a good thing to be doing. I would do it before taking a shower. I was like, "Oh, I got an hour and a half. I have extra time. I could do this and that," and I wasn't really too much in the mindset of I could be productive at this time. I could do something else. I could advance further. And that's more of what I've been geared towards the last 2 or 3 years. So those empty pockets definitely are the only opportunity because if I have no time whatsoever and I'm actually way behind schedule, I don't even think about it. I look and I'm like, fuck, dude, I gotta rush out 5 minute shower. I gotta drive immediately and haul ass to get to work. So no, I can't even think about doing that stuff.
So that's amazing that you're filling in that idle time, doing
Mhm.
something else to not have that dangerous red zone time.
Right.
But it gets to a point I don't want you to burn yourself out. So I
Hmm.
want you to think of this also as your thoughts as well. So you
Right.
might not have to be making sales, but don't let your mind go idle. Don't let your mind start drifting off because that's when we talked about outwitting the devil, the book, right? That's when the devil tries to grab a hold of your mind when it's idle, when it's drifting, when you're not thinking of anything. So
Hmm.
even if you're taking a break physically, mentally, always have a goal in mind. Always have a place where you can go where you're not going to be idle.
Hmm.
So that's perfect, man. Anything else that you're noticing about the triggers or the urges before we dive into just one pretty important thing I want to cover today?
Right. No, not really anything else. In a good sense, it has been mostly empty. So I've been working with a primarily blank slate, which is a good thing because I don't really want to feed into that stuff. So not really much else.
Perfect. So I want to cover something. I think you're ready for this now because you're not only overcoming the urges, but you've actually rewired your brain enough to where you're not
Hmm.
really getting that many anymore. So you've already built new paths in your mind. So I think you're ready for this. Lately, I've been teaching you how to overcome urges. But long term, do you think the goal is to just always try and overcome the urges? Or do you think at a time we want to set up our life in a way where the urges just aren't going to come on anymore?
Yeah, so I would say just to set up your life to where they don't come on anymore.
So understand this concept right here. Have we talked about the three selves?
I think we have. I can't recall exactly. Would it be like lower self, higher self, and
It's a part of that. So I'm talking about your past self, your current self, and your future self. And the thing is, they all have to look out for each other. Because let's put this in a story. Let's go like the lower self first. So if your past self is had you at the phone at 2 a.m. and then your future self has to wake up at 6 a.m., how is your current self gonna feel?
severely overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed as fuck. So say your current self is he's up at 2 a.m. and you're like, fuck. But then you think, oh, well, I might as well get no sleep. What is that doing
Right.
to your future self?
This is gonna fry the hell out of them. Just
It's gonna
destroy
fry
them.
him. You're literally setting yourself up for failure. So let's flip it. Let's say your past self, he knew he had to wake up at 6 a.m. So he went to bed at 10. So your current self, nice and rested. What is that going to do for your future self?
It's gonna give them more opportunity. It's gonna give them higher ability for a good performance outcome.
100%. So every single one of your actions now that you have already made it through that tough time should do one thing. You need to be looking out for future. You need to make sure that his life is set up for success. How do you think you're going to do that in terms of quitting pornography and overcoming these urges?
I would say that has a lot to do with the neural pathways that we've been talking about. So there's more to it, I'm assuming, because remember, like the alcohol, it was that I did so much that I didn't want to ever go back to it.
Mm.
And the more and more that people were even telling me, I want to follow your path or I want to do the kind of stuff that you're doing, it was crazy to me because it felt like I overcame a huge demon. And so now I was inspiring other people to overcome the demon as well. And I just don't want to go back to it ever, even birthday parties or anything.
So that current self mentality is looking out for the future self. Do you mind if I share with you how I keep my future self, my current self, looking out for my future self in terms of the urges? So maybe you can get some ideas.
Let's hear it.
My current self. I care so fucking much about my future self. Every action I do is about him. So when I go to sleep, and if I were to wake up at 6 a.m. for a meeting, I make sure my computer's set up. I make sure my lighting is set up. So that way, all I have to do is wake up and go on the meeting rather than scrambling. And like, fuck, I should have done this the night before. Even now, I leave my phone outside of the restroom. I only have social media on Safari, so I don't have the apps anymore. I continuously listen to the audios every single night. I sleep with my phone away from me, so on the other side of the room. My mornings are completely steady. No, from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., no phone, no music, no podcast, no social media, no texting, just me and my thoughts. What do you think all those actions do for my future self in terms of the urge?
So they push it out, they just give it no room to breathe.
So if you know your triggers, if you know you using your trigger tracker and just from memory, what led you to old patterns, how are you going to find ways to set up your future self for success and make sure future doesn't even put himself in a position to go back to those old patterns? How are you going to do that in your life?
So seeing what we're talking about here, I would just say just avoid being Albert because Albert acts a certain way. That motherfucker's
Mm.
lazy as shit. Motherfucker, Albert likes nachos, pizza, and ice cream on the weekends. And I like working out and taking cold showers and eating fucking smoothies, like berry smoothies and everything, and stuff that's really bitter and nasty, stuff that people don't like eating, like ginger and apple cider
Mm.
vinegar. Albert doesn't like that shit because he likes everything tasting sweet and juicy and crunchy and, sugary, or he likes all this fat stuff and like the soft, easy way. And I'm different than him because I like pain. I like pain and endurance. I like stability, clarity, a lot of things that he doesn't strive for because he doesn't want to try hard enough. He thinks effort's like something that isn't required, that, we're entitled, we should live a certain way. And I know otherwise.
You hit the nail on the head right there. That whole sentence shows me that you're a completely fucking changed man. Do you know why?
Why?
You said Albert likes this stuff. I like this. He's lazy. I like cold showers. Dude, you're completely dissociated from your lower self. That's what I'm talking about. But other than that, you did answer the question perfectly correctly. Just avoid being Albert. If you notice yourself doing Albert activities, you're like, oh, that's not going to be good for future lives. I'm
Mhm.
different. I know better. So this is going to really hit hard. A lot of men, they don't quit pornography because it's baked into their identity. They haven't made the complete transition like you have. So we have to completely split these actions, these behaviors from our lower self to our higher self. So just like you said, whenever the urge hits, you're like, that's not who I am. That's Albert. That's not Alexis.
Right.
What do you think is the biggest emotion that we can use to completely separate the lower self from our higher self?
So probably either, that's a tricky one. It would either be between rage or
Mhm.
anger and happiness. I feel like you could use both, but I'll go with happiness.
That's a good one. Very positive spin. I'm gonna be a
Mhm.
little harsh right now. The most powerful emotions for behavior change is, believe it or not, disgust, rage, like you said, hatred, rage, aversion, and embarrassment. So this is why you have to be careful. Without guiding these emotions, it could be a bit of a tricky situation. But if we use them correctly, it's the quickest way to rewire people as a human, people as in general. Why do you think those three emotions are so powerful?
Because people don't want to change anything until they feel discomfort. That's the thing about it. That's where being complacent is that you have so much comfort you don't want to do it.
And think about embarrassment. If you were in front of 100 people when you were a little kid, and then you raise your hand, and then you got the question wrong, and the teacher was like, "You're stupid. What the heck?" And everyone just started laughing at you. Do you think you would
Hmm.
ever raise your hand again in a classroom if you had such an embarrassing moment like that?
Oh no, I would wait a while though. I was embarrassed to where I wouldn't do it for a little while. You'd have to reset within a week, 2 weeks or so. But I love trying.
That's amazing. Really good. Obviously, you overcame 3 addictions. It's like your 4th one you overcame, so you're a little bit different. But keep that in mind. So this is how we're going to use it. Step 1, you keep embodying the that you are. Keep saying, that's who I am.
Right.
But step number 2, whenever the urge comes up, use embarrassment, use aversion, use disgust. So tell Albert, I'm unbelievably embarrassed and disgusted at Albert's behavior. Remember, you're not saying it to yourself, you're saying it to Albert's behavior. It's disgusting whenever Albert acts like that. That version of me, those actions, eating pizza on the weekends, doom scrolling whenever I have 20 minutes of free time, that's completely beneath me. That behavior is disgusting. I don't recognize that version of me whenever those actions happen. What else can you think about following these same lines?
So other actions would be sitting in the car after work. Man, I would waste some time. I don't sit in the car. I don't spend time just looking at beautiful women, admiring the features only for their features. I don't belittle people. I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I hated myself for doing that. I don't waste resources unnecessarily. I value time, especially high quality time. If I can see quality within time, and I value people. I value people for who they are, not just what I see on
It's amazing. So let's use the sitting in the car. You
them.
could say to Albert, it's so embarrassing whenever that behavior occurs. Sitting in the car, wasting 45 minutes of my day, that's embarrassing. I'm ashamed of that behavior. Make the behavior shameful, disgusting, so averse to how Alexis wants to act. And your brain is going to stay away from it. The goal is to make your old behaviors feel uncomfortable. Now, if I'm on Facebook and I see, I don't know, some girls playing volleyball or in the provocative way, or just posts like that, I get disgusted. I'm like, dude, I remember I used to spend so much time just scrolling through this. That behavior makes me uncomfortable. That is real rewiring.
Right.
So, what's one behavior? Maybe there's more, maybe there's none. But what's one behavior that you feel like you're still doing, even slightly, that could be dangerous to future in terms of the urges, the triggers, maybe just old habits?
I would say the deadliest one or the worst one that I need to work on is just thinking.
What do you
And
mean?
so here's basically what it is. So it usually occurs when I wake up, especially if I'm severely deprived of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I could wake up and feel almost helpless, almost hopeless, where I look at him like, fuck, man, how am I going to get through this and blah, all this stuff? Because that thinking used to put me in a space where I would say, well, I'm already anxious as hell. I need to do something. And it used to be alcohol, it used to be porn, it used to be weed. It was a lot of different things at different times. They all had their own season,
Mm-hmm.
but now it's nothing. So now that I've been using nothing, it's much more effective, but it's very hard to do. You have to use only your thoughts. And it has to occur as you're in the moment, which is very difficult sometimes. So it's like I get up at 10:40, I have to be at work at 11, and all I do is put on my shoes real quick, run outside, go to the car, turn it on, and that's it. Not a single second to waste. So I just sit down, and if I haven't done it correctly, then I'm sitting too long, and I'm laying down extra seconds, and I feel like I'm deeper in the hole. And it would be so bad sometimes that I would actually go into the restroom and I would say, fuck, man, I'm so anxious and worn out. I got to do something. Then I'd end up 15, 20 minutes late because I would go look at porn and I look, I'm like, the fuck is wrong with me, dude? What am I doing? And I'm driving to work and I'm more anxious again. And I look, I'm like, fuck, man, what's wrong with me? And it's a
Yeah.
spiraling effect because then I get home the next day later and I look, I'm like, well, man, that was fucking disgusting. Something really wrong with me. And I go and do it again. And it was really bad. I used to shame the hell out of myself. And I look and be like, damn, dude, I couldn't just go to work and really just handle this. So I'm over here falling victim to my own desires, to my own thoughts, to my own helplessness.
All right. So I have 2 things I want to touch on. Number 1,
Yep.
use those same emotions. One small tweak. Don't say I'm. So don't be disgusted at yourself. That doesn't do much good.
Right.
Be disgusted at the action, at the behavior, at the lower self, not you, but be disgusted at the actions. It's a slight difference, but it makes a big difference. Number 2, we have to really think through this one because right now I feel like you're doing really well, but it's using a little bit more discipline and willpower than I would like. I could tell that it's pretty hectic in the mornings. You got to really be on your stuff, and if something bad happens in the morning, it can spiral. How can we set yourself up for a little bit more success waking up to make sure that you're not having those anxious thoughts or spiraling like you did before?
So what it's been is positive thinking, and what I keep mentioning in the EODs, just to kind of appreciate things. Positive thinking is probably the best thing I could do, just to wake up appreciative. Just I want to.
Offer a couple pieces of suggestions. Part one, do you go to sleep easily or does it take some time for you?
It really does depend because I consume so much caffeine that it backfires on me sometimes.
Okay.
That's
So
also the
during the times that you have caffeine at night, is there anything that you do to help you go to bed even if you have caffeine?
yeah. So I have like little mushroom gummies. So
Cool.
mhm,
So just to set your nights up for success and prevent those kind of anxious thoughts when you wake up, I
mhm,
have two things I recommend. One of them, my client actually taught me. He said this helps him out
mhm.
huge. Just
Right.
he had a similar issue where he would go to bed. Him, I don't know your financial situation, but he was always behind on bills. He was always between jobs. It was one thing after another with him.
Mhm,
So he said before he went to bed, he was so stressed. The thing that he taught me was writing and saying everything out loud that would stress him out logically. So in
mhm.
his example, it'd be like it because right now when you keep it in your head, it's just like this big amorphous cloud of fucking doom.
Right.
So he starts thinking, my current gig ends in 2 weeks. I need to find another
Mhm,
gig. That's one piece. My second piece, my social security had problems. I need to make a call tomorrow to get that
mhm,
solved. So each problem that was taking up so much mental bandwidth in his head, he would say it out loud logically, see it for what
mhm,
it is, and even if it still stressed him out, it calmed him down a lot because
mhm.
it's like, this is what I'm dealing with. This is just the list. I could tackle this. And it's something I taught him. It's called the rule of 100. The rule of 100 is simple. I do this again. I go to the gym pretty late. I'm probably going to have an energy drink. So when I get home, I do this. I breathe in. So I start at 100 and I breathe in 98. So 100, 99, 98. Breathe in again. And I count 97, 96. So I keep doing that. And even if I've drink a freaking 300 milligram caffeine energy drink like 8 p.m., I've
Mhm,
never made it past 50 before going to bed. So if you're having trouble, just try that on. Do the rule of 100. Can you
mhm,
practice that for me really quick? So start at 100,
mhm.
breathe in, count to 98, breathe out, and just do that until 93.
All right. There we go. All right.
If you did that all the way to 50, can you see how it just completely calms the body and the mind down?
It's funny. That's actually what I do when my thoughts try to race, especially if I'm over here at work. I go for maybe I think what, 10 to 15 breaths, and then I just hear my alarm, and I wake up and I look. I'm like, fuck it.
First of all, really good that you're doing that because all
Mhm.
you're doing is calming down your nervous system. And the urges, the thoughts, they spike it back up. So fucking amazing, man. Honestly, I feel like you're there. Alexis. Like you're really there. I feel like you've truly changed. One more piece of advice, just when you wake up, I get it could be anxious and it could be easy to go down the path. Do you still have the vision video that I made for you?
Yeah, you're talking about the one with Mike Tyson and whole boats and everything.
When's the last time that you watched that vision video?
Yeah, probably like days ago. I was just looking at it, and I talked to one of my friends. It's amazing.
So you're already watching the video, amazing. Watch it
Yeah.
first thing in the morning. Set your day
Mhm.
up for success and prime your mind to the good things in life.
Right.
I have a vision board and I look at it first thing when I wake up. I put it directly at my feet and it primes you for the day. It lets you know what your intentions are. All right. So just before we end off, and I ask you just a couple questions about what I could do better, about your journey so far. Can you just explain to me how we're going to use those strong emotions to
Mhm.
push away the lower self?
So strong emotions like disgust, hatred, stuff
Mhm.
like that, rage, disappointment. And it's basically it can be used as a barrier. So disgusted with something I don't want to ever do it again. Or I get so enraged by it that I want to destroy it and kill it. Or so disappointed with it that I don't want to repeat it ever again.
And make sure to do it to the actions. So like this
Hmm.
action is disgusting. This behavior is beneath me.
Right. All right.
Anything else that you feel like we should cover about the urges and the triggers before I just ask you a couple of questions? It's just take 10 minutes.
Not really.